and told me a really cool story that she's going to share with us again here today. But I thought, okay, well, always wanted to do a meetup group for the functional programming community, and this story seemed like a good one to start with. So that's how we got here. We're as I said, we're learning on the fly. So this is going to be a complete experiment, and hopefully it goes well. But yeah, I will mute myself, and I don't know if we want to wait a couple more minutes, or people can join whenever, right? So I'll mute myself, Bonnie, and you take the stage, so to speak.
Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate you hosting this. It was interesting to see your announcement because I have been writing poetry since I was little. I've been coding, 90% of my professional life. So it just seemed natural to me to put the two and two together. Yeah. And so I'm excited to show you all everything. And while we're waiting, I just thought maybe, we could start with the attendees, introducing themselves and,
Sure.
talking a little bit about what their relationship with poetry and what their relationship with programming is. So, it's a dialogue, and I know what to say,
Yeah.
about poetry.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Sounds like a plan. Feel free to chime in, anyone and everyone, and say hello whilst we're expecting a few more people here.
The first person on my screen is Honorio Developer.
Yeah, it's Honorio, and I'm sorry, I should change that. Honorio Developer is like my ID on Linux, because that way I don't log into root. Yeah, I've been writing software for quite a while, and been liking Elixir for a long time. And when I saw something about doing poetry with Elixir, I thought to myself, I've got to check it out. This is gonna be cool. As far as poetry goes, not a ton there, but looking forward to hearing some ideas that I hadn't considered before, and learning along with everybody else. So I will change my ID, so it's not saying Honorio Developer.
Thank you. Tony is next, I think.
Okay, I can go next. So hi, my name is Tony. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. My background is actually not in software development. I used to be a mechanical engineer for about 10 years, but I recently decided that I wanted to do a career switch. So I have actually a lot of experience in JavaScript, but then I recently found out about Elixir pretty much a month ago, and I've been down this rabbit hole learning everything I can about Elixir. It's just super fun. So I've been getting into that. I've been learning Phoenix, been playing around with LiveView recently. And I'm just here because I just want to check out, what other people are building with Elixir. And I saw this, and I just wanted to see, what's being built and how I'd learn from everyone.
Yeah, thanks. And Mark?
Hi. Yeah, so I have been a software engineer for over a decade. I would call myself at this stage an Elixir enthusiast. I love a lot of languages, but Elixir has just been so productive professionally, and I really hope to have the next 5-10 years working in at least a language that's as fun as it is to writing in Elixir. And recently LiveView has been totally amazing to work with. Yeah, so that's about it. As far as poetry, I would just call myself an admirer. I used to actually write music a lot, and I'm always amazed by people who I know song lyrics is not poetry, but I think you need a poetic spirit to be good at it. But I'm always amazed at people who can take reality and put it into words in an artful way. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Yeah, and the last person I'm seeing is Sam.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just curious as to how this process of using this program works. And I like to write poetry, so that's why I'm here.
Yay, thank you. So yeah, I'll introduce myself. Bonnie Wailee Kwong. I usually hail from the Bay Area. I am in Hong Kong now. So I have been an Elixir developer professionally for about a year and a half, 2 years, and I love the language. It is really a joy to work with. I have maybe 8 prior years of Ruby experience, and I like Ruby syntax, which is what it has in common with Elixir. And of course, Elixir is, with the piping, it's pattern matching, it's so easy to reason with. So that's why I love it as a developer. And as a poet, I have been writing since I was little. So I love just natural languages come naturally to me. So here we are. And yeah, I thought that maybe we would just write together, which is what this application is about. So I am going to start sharing my screen and see if, let's see. Whoops. So do you see my screen now? Oh, okay. So are you, let's see. So you're seeing, are you seeing the login screen of the Renku.Earth?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I am going to sign in as one of my dummy users. Oops, let's see. Great, so here is the dashboard. But first, we're gonna go to the main screen, which this is the front page, and this is the only published Renku we have right now, untitled by Yugen and Basho. So this is just what the finished poem would look like. It just kind of looks like static text on any poetry journal. And here on the front page, I have an explanation of what a renku is. So a renku, for those of you who know Chinese or Japanese, the first character means connected, and the second character is, sentence, like haiku. So a verse. So linked verse is a translation of the term. And traditionally, poets would get together and just have parties, like this one, and compose poetry together. So so that's one way to do it, to compose a renku. And then the other way is an invention of mine where we email each other and each person only sees the last line of the poem. So for instance, if I wrote the first line of this poem by Moonlight and I emailed somebody else, I emailed the next person, Mike. Mike would only see by Moonlight and he would write the second line, something like this, my poor mother at work. And then he would write, he would email the third person who would only see the second line, and so on and so forth. So each person would only see the previous line as context. And so by the end of the poem, say, when I initiated the poem, I specified it's 5 lines. Then when the poem reaches 5 lines, I would get an email saying, okay, it's done. Now, you know, I have the option of making edits and then I can publish it. So when I hit the publish button, this is what the front page would look like. It would have my poem on it. So that's how the invitation version of this would work. And it's an exquisite corpse because exquisite corpse is a term that the surrealists coined for this type of collaboration. Initially, it was a visual art collaboration where each person would only see a, for instance, maybe the head, the neck without seeing the head of an image. So the second person would maybe draw a torso, and then the third person would see maybe 4 legs, you know, something really strange, and they would not see what is above the 4 legs. You know, the torso could be anything, you know, could be a cat, could be a cow, could be a dog. So that's an exquisite corpse. And this way of working, where each person only sees the previous line, is a literary exquisite corpse. So yeah, so these are the 2 ways, you know, Renku parties and invitations. These are the 2 ways I envision this working. So we're gonna go in reverse order and just do a simple Renku party at the moment now. And then, so we're gonna go to the dashboard. And so right now I'm pretending that I'm the first user. Again, I'm pretending that I already authored a poem. And this is what it looks like from the initiator's perspective before it was published. So I'm gonna hit the new Renku button. And I am going to type in, if I had a cousin in Jerusalem. So this is the title of my poem. And I'm gonna keep this short. I'm gonna say this is 5 lines, and just say, okay, I'm done with that. And this is what I see. And this is all very much work in progress. But, you know, I see a new line button, so I click on it. And I say, I just write the first line. And say,
You're braver than me composing poetry in front of other people.
Okay, I want to be totally, I already have a poem in progress with this title. This line is new. So I'm half improvising. So I'm gonna hit enter. And yeah, this is what it gives me. And at this point, since this is a Renku party, we're just doing this all synchronously. We're all staring at the screen, and we're all aware that this is the first line, the title. So I'm gonna say, is anybody interested in continuing this poem? Like, who wants to? Who has any ideas?
I'll do a next line.
Yeah. What? So yeah. What are your thoughts?
Oh, within the city walls.
Great. And you see that there's an activity log right underneath the poem. And this is PubSub. It is basically, yeah, this activity log is supposed to update real time. So this is a really good chance for me to, comment as an engineer that a good deal of this functionality was based on an existing application called Todo Trek, TREK, which was an application that was made by Chris McCord. And he basically, this PubSub functionality was built by him. And, a lot of this was built by him. Just the framework of having lines and then a list of lines. That was essentially already in place. I was thinking of building this from scratch, and then I was thinking, I wonder if there are examples of nested forms, because now we have a list of Renkus. This is a list, the first Renku, the second Renku, and then we have each Renku has a list of lines, and each line could potentially have many invitations. Here's where people would create invitations to invite people to write the next line. So we have multiple layers of, nested resources. And I was thinking, how would I create something in live view that would reflect this multiple layers of these nested structures? So that's how I found Todo Trek. And this, simplified my life tremendously, where I had an application already that does all this, that has the activity log, that pretty much is this nested structure that I'm piggybacking on. So we'll talk more about that. Yeah, sorry.
I was gonna I was going to ask a simple question that I don't want to derail, but my question is, what happens when somebody else logs in? Right now, do
Right.
you, yeah, like,
Yeah, right.
are these all private poems? I know we're doing a party, a Renku party, but have you built out
Yeah,
any of that?
right. Thank you. So here is the user that I'm logged in as. So you again at example.com. This is my dashboard. And yeah, that's a really good question. And the way this happened, the way this works, you know, this is the only user who is going to be able to edit this poem. This is, I'm the initiator. That's how it works. So the user who is the initiator of this poem can edit it, can see it in this form, right? I have the power to edit it. And then if I sign in as somebody else, in fact, I might do that. Let me just create, okay, in Firefox, for instance, here, I'm just gonna start another session in Firefox and log in as somebody else. I'm gonna look at my code because I don't remember who else. Okay, so Wailee is somebody else, okay? And you see that they all have the same password. Here's, this is what we call the seeds file. Those of you who know Elixir, who know the Phoenix framework, which is Chris McCord's huge contribution to Elixir. This is, the seeds are what I'm basing this, how I'm populating the database. So these are the defaults. This is the default poem, different lines of the default poem that you saw just now. This is just an array of strings, and these are the default users in the seeds. So they're all, they all have the same password. That's just something random I picked. And these are the logins. So I'm going to demonstrate this. Here is, so I'm going to log in as Wailee is another user. And then I am going to just use the same password because that's what I have the database. Yeah, that's what I've picked as my user, my password in this. So you see, this is what the second user's dashboard looks like. We've made it to the beginning of time. So there's nothing, right? Because I haven't initiated any poems as Wailee. Wailee is a brand new user. Wailee doesn't see what Yugen is doing. So basically, the way it's designed to work is each initiator sees, only sees the poems that they have initiated. So yeah, does that make sense?
Definitely. I just, I see with this problem set, there's a lot of really cool things you can build out with it as far as, having, having a person log in and that person, only being able to see the line, or I could foresee building a UI where potentially, you can, instead of emailing, you could have it all right in the UI. But
Right.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
like you can see other people logged in and, being able to, you can see a version of this application where another person might be able to see this as well. Might be able to see a poem that they are collaborating on but did not initiate.
Yeah, definitely. I was just wondering if that you were kind of planning to go that route. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. No, that's a totally, that's a perfectly reasonable question. In fact, if this is where, collaboration comes in, even in software development. Say if you wanted to collaborate with me on this application and you said, this is what I want to build, I want to build a version where people can collaborate while, seeing the same UI, seeing the poem in progress. Multiple people can have this, editing view, edit access at the same time. And that would be fun. I would say, sure, let's, so we would really have to get PubSub working for all of these components,
I'm just
and
curious.
yeah.
So does this platform work for other forms of poetry? Have you been able to use it for or is it just having the restrictions of like Renku, haiku that allow this sort of like blind collaborative process?
Right. So if you wanted to write a poem, if you wanted to write a sonnet all by yourself, you could totally do it.
And then I'm curious too, like, what if you write something really great and then I guess like you're sharing the copyright?
Okay, so I, am not a lawyer. If I were to build out the terms of this application legally, this is what I would say. So by clicking the publish button, you are giving the application the rights, to the poem. You're saying you're the author of this poem, and you're giving us the rights to publish it, and then the rights revert to you. And I would just say that I would just ask that you publish original work. I would just ask that whatever you're publishing on Renku.Earth should be original. And so you're giving the application, the first rights to publish this as a piece of original work, and then the rights revert back to you. So that's my understanding of most journals, most online journals. And later on, if you were to publish it in another journal, you would have the right to do so. I mean, that's providing that they accept previously published poems, right? Because you've already published it on Renku.Earth. And then if you were to compile a manuscript, poetry manuscript of your own, a book, you could include the poem in your book. So yeah, I intend this to be just a journal, a poetry journal, and we're not looking to own any poems at this time, or ever really. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I really don't see this as a means of collecting rights, to poems. So, anybody have any ideas about what to write next? I would ask them, if I had a cousin in Jerusalem, I would ask them to pause within the city walls.
Trying to fire up my brain at 10:30 at night. Sorry, after that. But
Yeah, anyone else?
Are there any
Oh.
rules we need to follow in terms of like how many syllables or anything, or is it can be anything?
It can be anything. So just to be clear, I'm using the word Renku loosely, you know. So there have been some forms of Renku historically that, you know, have a certain number of lines. And I'm just saying that this is linked verse, you know, that each line depends on the context of the previous line. So this is all free. Yeah, this is more like free verse, but it's collaborative.
I'm trying to fire up my creative brain at 10:30 at night, but I'm going to go with lay your head on the pillow.
Oh, okay.
That's my line.
Okay.
I was gonna
So
say
can
I'm
I
impressed
change it
that
to there?
Bonnie's dealing with 5:30 in the morning and she's doing pretty darn good.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did Google
Is it
what's the
okay?
time in Hong Kong.
It is 5:30. That was an excellent calculation right there.
Oh no, I was
Is
gonna
it
say
okay that I
it's
changed the
on your
pronoun?
screen there, so that's how I knew it was 5:30.
Oh, right. Yes, I am sharing my screen. Is it okay that I changed the pronoun to they because the first line uses they. Is that okay?
Yeah, sorry. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So this is great. Thank you for this line.
I got something.
And then, yeah, we have two. Yeah. So I just pressed enter, and so we're on to the fourth line. I think, did I say 5 when I started the poem?
Oh, it's 5 or 6.
Lines?
Got it.
Yeah, I don't.
I believe
Yeah,
you did.
Okay. Okay. So yeah.
I was thinking of continuing and think functionally about any problem that arises.
And think functionally.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
I think about any problem that arises.
that's funny to have the word functional in a poem.
How many syllables is that? Are we constrained on the number of syllables?
So there was no rules,
No,
right?
no. Free
I'm just
verse.
teasing.
Okay. Anyone else? So I wanted to add, yeah, this is not really, you know, I haven't really extensively banged on this site. So yeah, this is maybe beta at best.
How about and return something new?
I love these programming references.
I like that, man. It's a good line.
Really, I have never seen programming references in, you know, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and return something new. Okay, so you see that the application has kept track of the number of lines that initially the initiator specified. in the beginning, and it's saying, okay, well, you know, now we're done, right? So as the initiator, you know, I'm looking through this poem, and I'm gonna say, well, let me just read it out loud. As a poet, you know, it's what poets should do. I'm not saying that I do this all the time, but it really is good practice to read a poem out loud before finalizing it. If I had a cousin in Jerusalem, I would ask them to pause within the city walls, lay their head on their pillow, think functionally about any problem that arises. Oh, I found a bug, and return something new. So then I just hit publish. And right, so now it's telling me that the poem is published. So then I go back to my front page. I refresh it, and voila.
Hey.
Yeah, and thank you so much for collaborating. And that is, how, of course, as I said, this is, beta, and what I need to do is, order these poems on the front page in reverse chronological order. So the newest poem appears on top. But that essentially, this is how it works. And notice that this is a version that I'm seeing. It's really the same. I'm signed in, I see the front page, and I go back to Firefox. I'm not, let me sign out here. I sign out, and if I look at this application, as an anonymous user, it's asking me to log in. I'm anonymous, not logged in. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I was looking at it on my browser, Bonnie, and it's there. So it's like, wow, that's pretty good.
So yeah, now it's published. It's on the homepage. It's live. Yeah, it's this is a live application in beta. Yeah. So yeah, we have collectively written and electronically published a poem. So yeah, you can each say that you are your poets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that was the Renku party part of it. This is the form that we just used. This is number 2. And now I can proceed to show you the invitations, which is working in development, but not live. What that means, to those of you who are not programmers, is that I can get it to work when I run my own server, which I will show you. Here is my server, with my Phoenix server. And this is how I start my server, by the way. I'm going to stop my server. And if I type mixphoenix.server, or in this case, IEX-@s, mixphoenix server. So this gives me a server that nobody else can access. I can access it locally, which in this case means on my laptop. And what I'm gonna, if we work on this and publish something, it's not gonna appear on the internet. It's not going to appear on Renku.Earth. And IEX-S gives us a the ability to interact with this server here. You see the IEX prompt. You know, I can run queries against the database and see the results here, so on and so forth. And yeah, this is just a really nice little Phoenix feature. So I am gonna work, so it works locally, meaning it works when I run my development server on my laptop. And there are just a lot of anti-spamming laws that I have to work around. So that's my next task for this application, is to make the invitations work live. So you see that I, instead of Renku.Earth, I entered localhost 4000 in my browser. So localhost is, you know, again, it's my development server's address. It's running on port 4000. So this is something that, again, you know, we're seeing on my laptop only. And I'm going to show you like the invitation feature. So you see that there's this little navigation link. So I'm just going to go back to the dashboard. So here we are. And because I am on my development server, I only see this. I only see the seed data, which is the sample data that I programmed here. This is my code. You see seeds.exs. This is the sample data that I hard coded into the application. It really was pretty easy to run and populate the database with the initial poem. So I'm signed in as this user. Notice that when the site is live, as you again, I see more poems. I see the poem that, let me go back. It might be a tiny bit confusing because as you again in production, this is live Renku.Earth, I see 2 poems because I initiated them, you know, on the server hosted by fly.io. And so this is the public, you know, live server. And note that this is a different user in essence because, you know, it's on a server that's hosted publicly. It's an entirely different database than what you're seeing over here. What you're seeing in Firefox is my own copy of my own database, my own copy of the replication of the application. So I'm going to initiate a new Renku and take you through the invitation flow. So we are so I'm going to say early morning in Hong Kong. And I'm going to say this is a shorter poem, 3 lines, just like a haiku. I'm just demonstrating you can write different forms of poetry using this application. So haiku is 5 syllable, 575, 5 syllables, the first line, 7 syllables, the second line, and then 5, the third line. So anybody volunteer to write the first line, 5 syllables? This is not going to be published on the internet, by the way, because I am running this on my laptop.
Just got to watch out for my YouTube channel. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, what was that? Did you have the first line to contribute?
Well, could we use that? You've just got to watch out for, no, it's not, that's not 5 syllables.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm trying to think of something that's 5 syllables long.
Yeah.
You know,
How
like
about
light breeze, or a light breeze isn't like 5 syllables, is it?
No.
how about I wake up thinking?
I wake up thinking. Yeah, that's 5 syllables. Okay. So this is where, again, you know, I haven't built this out, but you saw that there's a little pencil, right? As soon as I, okay, so whoops. So there was a little pencil that appeared. Again, this is it is a little bit janky, sorry. But let me go back to my Renku's. Go back to my dashboard. Localhost, go back to the dashboard. Yeah, so you see this little pencil here? That's an invitation pencil. And, you know, I should document that. But so I'm going to send somebody an email. So I'm signed in as you again, and then I am going to send this other user an invitation. So I'm just going to say, hey, save invitation. So you say the application tells me success, invitation created. So what this means is I have invited this user to collaborate with me. So let's look at so let's see. Let's look at this in the mailbox. So dev. I'm trying to remember. Dev,
Probably localhost/dev. Localhost 4000 /
yeah,
dev.
dev mailbox. Yes, localhost/dev/mailbox. Okay, this is how we look at the mailbox and see what happened. And the system sent Wailee at example.com an email saying, hey, check this out. Your friend sent you an invitation to write a Renku, a collaborative poem, and visit the URL below. If you don't have an account with LinkU, create one now. So I'm calling this application LinkU. So then this is what Wailee would see in their inbox, in their email inbox, like Gmail or whatever. And so they would go to this link. So I'm going to maybe switch to Chrome and open this link as Wailee, you know, and they would say, okay, well, they already have an account, right? So because they are in my seeds, they're in the sample data for this pre-populated data for this. So they would just they could do this and then click sign in, or they could say, I really don't want to, I don't remember my password. So they could do this. Say I'm Wailee and I say, I have an account, but I don't remember my password. Can you send me a magic link? So they would do this. And they would click on send me a link. Okay, and the system says, if we find an account for you, Wailee at example.com, we'll send a one-time sign-in link, also known as a magic link. So now we go back to Firefox and say, okay, did we, send an email to Wailee? What happened? Sign in via magic link. Yes, we did. So again, as Wailee looking at their mailbox, Gmail or whatever, they would see this. They would have a magic link. So they would use this magic link and sign in. So I'm going to use it to, prove that it works. And voila, Wailee is signed in. So you see here's proof that we're signed in as Wailee. And because Wailee did not initiate any poems, they're not seeing this. They're not seeing anything. And okay, so right here, so here's another bug, because we supposedly, if my query works, what I should be seeing as Wailee is the what I should be seeing in the dashboard is a form of the poem. They should be seeing this, they should be seeing I wake up thinking, if they are Wailee at example.com. So this is interesting. Wailee at example, this is the first time I've encountered this bug. So I am going to, and I noticed that, this is a different browser. So I have to QA my
Always the best way to find bugs, shows your code to somebody else.
I know. Yeah, there's a bit of sadness. Okay, so the way this dashboard is curated is by SQL. So it should not matter which browser I am in. As long as I'm signed in properly, I should see Wailee at example.com should see the poem that they are invited to edit. So they're one of the invitees. Let me try, but I'm gonna try just, I'm just gonna try doing this again. I'm gonna try to log in again as Wailee. Wailee at example.com.
I'm just cautious that I think Zoom, or if it does, I don't know how it behaves, to be honest, but if it automatically stops the meeting after the set time, does anyone know that? But if it does, we can jump, in case it kicks everyone out for whatever reason, we can, we can jump back in, but just preempting if Zoom decides to end it.
There's usually a countdown timer if it does, so we'll see.
Oh, okay, all right, brilliant, thank you.
Yeah. And for the reason why this is not working, is it because when you sent the invite, I think it was Wailee at example without a .com?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I love this live debugging. Because it really is a user error. Okay.
They call that PEBCAC.
Yes,
problem exists between keyboard and chair. Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely right. So I am actually glad that it is this type of error. Let me, so Wailee has to sign in as, okay, so Wailee at example. Okay, this is definitely a 5 a.m. error. Okay. Okay, so Wailee says, Wailee at example is logging in without the .com. And yes, we are we'll send you a link. And this time we go, well, thank you so much. I'm so glad we have another chance at this. And this is what Wailee at Example, without the .com sees in their mailbox. Let's see, they use Proton Mail, and they're going to see this, and they're going to say, okay, well, great. My friend has invited me to collaborate, and I'm going to use this link. Voila, see? This is what, yes, this is definitely what I'm used to seeing. So Wailee sees this.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry.
There you go.
A quick question: is this a public repo, or are you going to open source it? How do you want people to collaborate?
Oh, I would love. So for security reasons, I haven't open sourced the repo. I would love to open source it once it's thoroughly tested, because anytime I'm as it is, you know, it's already live and it's vulnerable because I haven't gone through the motions of, you know, hardening, of tightening it up. I don't want it to be hacked. You know, it's much easier to hack a repo where you've seen the code. And that really is the main reason I haven't open sourced it. I would love to collaborate with you if you find me on LinkedIn. I will, you know, please don't leave without me giving you my LinkedIn information, and I'd love to invite you to the repo and collaborate with you on it. So yeah, so I just wanted to show you, yes, it does work. Would you like, anybody want to compose the next line?
How many syllables have we got this time around?
5.
5? Oh,
5 again.
Yes.
5 again.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it is 7. Yeah. Thank you.
7.
That's why we need to collaborate.
I got another one if no one has anything.
7 syllables. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about, are there Elixir devs? Are there any, wait, no, are there Elixir devs here? Is that 7?
Are there any Elixir devs here?
That's too many.
9.
That's too many. That's too many. How about remove the any? Do you remove the any? Would that be 7?
Are there Elixir devs here? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we hit enter. And yeah, we're left with the last line, 5 syllables again. So 5, 7, 5. Oh, so now this is, if we go with the invitation flow, here is another, now we do the new invitation. So I'm going to invite, let's just say, let's see. So I invite third person at example.com. So save invitation, and invitation created successfully. Now that is, yeah. So we're going to go back to the email, you know, the system's mailbox. Let's see. So Wailee sent third person this email. Okay, check this out. You have an invitation. So third person sees this. This is the URL for third person. And we are going to open it. Let's sign out first as Wailee. And then we're going to use this magic link, this invitation link. Well, so first time around, yes, third person only sees this. and they are going to sign into the system. This is a brand new user, by the way. It's not in my seeds. So a third person has to create an account for themselves. So this person says, send me a link. Yeah, and the system sends them a magic link to log in. And third person goes in and only sees the second line. Okay. Does that make sense? The invitation flow?
Cool.
So that's the mystery part. You see, when we were using the system, you know, on Zoom together, that is like a totally open Renku party way of writing collaboratively. So in the invitation flow, the second person only sees the third person only sees the second line, not the first line. So that is where funky things can happen because, you know, yeah, because you don't really know the whole full context.
I've got the final line.
Yes, what is it?
Ask the Phoenix.
Ask the Phoenix. 4 syllables.
Oh, is it Phoenix? I'm thinking of, I'm pronouncing the O in Phoenix, sorry. Okay, what can we,
Ask the, maybe can we use an adjective?
About just ask the Phoenix.
Just ask the Phoenix, perfect.
I love it. So, you know, as the third person, I have, maybe next time I should, you know, make this, create a message, a nice message saying, you know, thank you or whatever. But right now it's in beta. So we have no thank you message. We only see, okay, it's done. And then we're gonna go back to the other view. Let's see. Yay, so this is the initiator's view. The initiator sees that, okay, well, I'm in my dashboard, I see it's ready. The Renku has reached its max length and can now be published. So I hit the publish button and it tells me it's published, which means I'm gonna go to the feed. I'm calling the homepage the feed, but you know, it could be anything. So I'm seeing, yay, on my local server, this poem has been published.
Nice.
Cool.
So the reason this is not on Renku.earth is not, it's really more of an issue of figuring out the laws around spam.
Oh, for your hooking up email, hooking up MailChimp or whatever. Yeah. Swoosh.
Yeah. Do you have any experience with that? Because I would love to.
I have a lot of experience with it. I don't have experience with spam, you know, like as far as, you know, what you need to do to prevent spam in terms of, well, to be specific, I don't know what you're thinking of in terms of like what problems would you have with spam, because usually systems I build, it's people signing up, you know, not really. I don't really deal with spam in that way. At least I don't think I do. I don't know. when you say spam, I'm not too sure what that means. Yeah.
Yeah. So where I am in this process is, as you can see, it works on my dev server. The email providers like MailChimp and AWS, SES.
Mailgun, yep.
Yeah, email providers are hesitant to give Renku.Earth the ability to send emails. I've
Really?
tried then. They won't let me send, they won't deliver it. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Or I think there are laws that want to receive, this is an example of what might be happening. I think, they might be classifying this as a marketing email because, for instance, third person at example.com has not given this application the permissions to use to use their email. That's why.
Yeah. So for me, you cut off a lot, but now I think I see what you're saying. I believe that emails need to have an MX record, or they need to have records behind them. Maybe I missed what you were saying, but are you saying that you're having difficulties with people using, like mark@example.com domains like that specifically?
Oh, like even when I use a real email, like
Okay.
a Gmail account, I'm sending myself test emails. So I know, and even then it's not working. And I think it's because I need to build a little, I need the recipient to check a box on the application first, saying I give Renku.Earth the permission to send me an email.
Question: what service are you using right now? Are you using Amazon SES or something else?
I started out with SES, and I didn't want to mess up my reputation on SES, so I switched to I think I switched to MailChimp or something like that. I tried a couple of services, and none of them worked. So, if anybody, I don't want to like take up everybody's time because there's many different aspects to this. But I would love, this is another area where I'd love to brainstorm. I'd love to collaborate.
Yes.
So anybody have any other questions?
I was going to say a little bit more about the email thing, just to share my experience with Amazon SES. First thing is, there's the development versus production, right? So you have to request to get out of development in order for them to allow you to send to production emails, right? And then in terms of the spam laws, I think the only thing, as far as I understand, is you have to get consent from the user to send emails. And that usually is you send them a first email, and usually that first email is a confirm link, right? Like, please confirm that you're human and that you would like to receive these emails. And then that gets, and then they click that link, it goes back to you. And then you basically just mark them as confirmed. And this is completely transparent to anyone else, right? It's just so that you have record that you have done that and you have gotten their consent. So that's for legalities, but that's usually not something that you have to show people unless requested. But it's a legality thing. And then after that, I think it's what Mark said is you just have to make sure all of your records are in place. And there's like a lot. There's like this thing called SPF. There's this thing called DMARC. I'm not sure you
Right.
know what those are, but you have
Yeah,
to have all
yeah.
those
I had to
records.
I set up
Yeah,
this. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. Thank you.
and then once you have all
I've had
that,
a lot of
yeah,
I've had
yeah,
a
go
lot of
ahead.
luck with Mailgun. Mailgun is kind of nice and it's pretty simple. There's been really good docs, and I haven't run into any issues.
Right.
Yeah, but I to be really clear, when you were talking about the issues you were dealing with, you totally cut out. So I may have missed a bunch of context. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is all very helpful. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and I set up this domain, so right. I could double check the MX records and all that too. Yeah. But what the comments about confirmation links, that you're human and that you give, the site permission to send you emails, that's very helpful.
Yeah,
So
seems
yeah,
better.
this is how it's working at the moment. So any questions, any I could there's more Elixir, uh,
Yeah,
I
nice
could
job.
show
It's a
you.
cool idea.
Yeah,
Cool
yeah.
project.
Right. Thank you. Again, I do want to leave you with my email address. I just wanted to show you all a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes, maybe for the dev side.
I had one question real quick regarding, so you said you were like the magic link a while ago. Did you have that set up yet as well? Or was that just a mock for development?
That is actually in prod.
Okay.
So I mean, so that is there's a blog post out there that I followed, and it's been very straightforward. So
Do you
yeah,
happen to have a link to
that
that
is
blog post?
um not like off the top of my head, but if you do a search,
John John
Phoenix,
Elms. Okay.
yeah, Phoenix yeah,
Is that
Phoenix.
it?
If you do Phoenix Magic Link login, it'll come up. It's a pretty, yeah, I think it's a road well traveled, and it was
Yeah.
pretty
That guy,
straightforward to set up.
if it's from John Elm, that guy's blog is fantastic as far as excuse me, live view, and he has a really good graph of the life cycle of a live view. I would check it out.
Yeah, I definitely have it bookmarked. This is something I wanted to add to my apps as well. So this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that part's working. Yeah, it's definitely not hard coded or anything. So right, let me just maybe show you some really cool stuff that that's happening behind the scenes. I just wanted to say that I wanted to thank Chris McCord again, because he really did a lot to get this up and running. His to-do truck application is one I definitely recommend checking out if you're looking to learn live view. And we're looking at some of his code. I renamed everything, of course, because this was an application to for to-do items. And I just wanted to show you all this. Yeah, he has all this cool stuff. Like if you reorder the lines, he has multis.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So this is all his code, and I just happened upon it. And so for those of you who've done front end development, that drag and drop reordering is can be quite a bit of work, and he has this figured out, and you should totally check out To Do Trek if that's something that you're looking to do for your own application.
Yeah, it's also like
and
a Scrum board, kind of. It's not a Scrum board, but I mean the whole columns and drag and drop. It's the fact that all the code is there. It's an amazing project. I agree. Big fan.
yeah,
of
yeah.
project.
He's done a lot of work, and I am so thankful to him for making this a public, open source repo, for others to piggyback on. Yeah, so this is definitely not something that I, would want to spend a lot of time on, all these chained multis, and he's already done that. So yeah, and I just wanted to say that, show you there's really nice things happening, in the dashboard. There's a lot of logic behind, who is this person who's logging into the dashboard? Are you allowed to write because you've been invited? And so this is where, a lot of the logic is, and it's not simple because, you could either be accessing the dashboard as the initiator of a poem or as an invitee. So depending on what your relationship to the poem is, you're going to be seeing a different number of lines, or you might not see the poem at all because you're neither an invitee nor an initiator. So the query is pretty complex, and what I love about the about Elixir is that you can, change the Renkus. You can, instead of writing one gigantic query, you can break them down. Say, this is the criteria if you were the Renku initiator. You would. This is the query for that. If you're an invitee, this is the query for this, and we're just gonna chain this so that, and this is what you see at the very end on whether you are so the actually, you can break up SQL. You change the number of lines based on to the poem. So this is one example with Elixir, because it's composable.
Thank you, repo pattern.
Yeah, it is sort of like a Renku in that, it's just divided into discrete blocks.
Awesome.
But yeah, I don't know if there's any more. Let me stop sharing and there's.
I just want to say thank you very much for that, Bonnie. I think you put quite a few people outside their comfort zone, which is always fun to see. had to get the brain ticking there for a moment. So no, yeah, it's really fun to do that. And again, I just really liked the backstory and how you put it together. And I learn something new every time I speak to a new developer. So it's easy for me, but I hope everyone else learned something as well. So really cool.
Thank you.
I know that was great.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Mike, again for hosting.
My pleasure.
I wanted to put a plug in for you as well, Mike. You know.
No worries. No worries. Really fun. I think in terms of all connecting, I don't know how many of us are connected on LinkedIn or whatever, but through the meetup group, you should be able to find everyone's names at least. Oh, there you go. Bonnie's check the LinkedIn URL. So there you go. Brilliant. Great. Well, I don't know, Bonnie, did you wake up early or are you soldiering through the night? What was
I woke up early. It's
Good
definitely
stuff.
the hardest hour. I picked the hardest hour for myself.
No worries.
You know.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming by again. There's really nice, small, intimate group actually as well. I think that worked really well for collaboration and so on. So brilliant stuff. I did plan to put this on a YouTube channel, by the way. I've got no followers, 0 followers as of yet. But if there's any objections, let me know. But otherwise, I'm going to chuck it up there and people can go back to it, view it, whatever, whenever, right? So hopefully we can spread the message and get people writing poems and writing more code.
Yes, writing Elixir, writing poems. I'm all for that. Thank you.
Awesome. Brilliant. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's good. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Bonnie.
Cheers.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye.